Welcome, everyone. This is Future of Work, 24 Hours Live. I'm here with Colleen Esposito. Uh, welcome, my friend.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
We're actually at the Future of Work,
Yes, we
24
are.
hours event. And tell me, how has it been for you?
Pretty amazing. I mean, I was able to join Circle B. Things were pretty busy this morning for me, but I've already had some like really generative conversations that made me really think a little
Ooh,
bit more about like what if work wasn't the center of our lives? What if other things were?
that's really cool. So let's play in that space for a second. So, if work wasn't the center of your life, what would it make space for?
Um, for me, it's living more in my purpose and who I am as a human and the value that I bring to this world, not just to my employer.
And for you, what does it look like to bring value to this world?
So for me, I'm actually a connector, or I call myself a bridge builder quite often. And so I have the opportunity to explore things that maybe I've never even heard of before and see what of that I want to bring back to the humans around me. It's also allowed me to see the wonderful things about humanity, and for me, where I didn't necessarily want to see, but the not so wonderful things about humanity. Like people can be awesome, but people can also be very people-y and not so awesome.
So, could you share more about peoply
People-y. People-y. Oh,
for
goodness.
people who don't know what peoply is?
People-y.
Are they
Well, I don't know.
peoply so they know what they're doing? It.
So people means like kind of me. At least that's what it means for me. And like we all arrive to a beautiful destination, and we almost like try to race each other to see that beautiful view before somebody else can. And like kind of the crowding and the pushing that can happen when you're in a space with a lot of people. um, you know you're on that beautiful beach and it's deserted because you got there at 7 a.m. in the morning, and all of a sudden somebody puts up a tent right in front of you so that the view that you had is gone. That's people-y.
Hmm. Wow. So, how do you think you can move if you ever step into peoply? Because I'm assuming we all do it, right? Um, how do we shift from being peoply?
Whew, that's a great question. I think for me it's to consider everything that's there and everyone that's there. And I love your moniker and what you are, your soul craftswoman. And I have, for the last few years, started to think of people as souls inhabiting a body rather than just like the body. And so there's something in that soul that needs to be satisfied. And so trying to figure out what is that? Like, why am I shoving somebody out of the way or trying to get ahead in traffic or trying to climb the ladder at work? Because, what if there's not just one ladder? And what if up is not the only way? And what if there's just a web of interconnectedness and we just choose which strand we go on?
Ooh, I got excited. I love that because, you know, that's curiosity, right? And what I always say, like, curious people are coachable. So how do you help them get curious, right? And that's one of the things is wanting to know their story. So when I'm in traffic and I see different things, bro, instead of getting road rage, I may build a different story. Like, ooh, maybe something's happening I don't
Mhm.
know of. So it could not be, but that gives them grace, right? And
Quite often,
compassion.
yes. And you know what? Maybe it isn't, but quite often it is. I remember a time where I decided, as my bridge builder connected person, that if I saw a car that was stuck on the side of the road, I was going to help them. And I'd
Right.
like physically push cars out of the way. And I was when I was younger and my back was a little bit better, but I still will look for that. Like, what's going on? There was this one car, and it was raining and it was dark, and I was going to be late because that car would not move out of the turn lane, and everybody just was blaring their horn at this car. And I pulled up behind him, put on my blinkers, and I got out of the car and I just went and tapped on the window and I said, "Are you okay?" And the woman burst into tears because her husband, who was not driving, was very, very sick, and she was trying to get him to the hospital that was just past my destination. And I said, "Well, can I help? Can I take them there?" Because she said, "Somebody's on the way to fix my tire. I've got a flat, and, he can't do it, and I'm not physically capable." And I said, "Well, how can I help you?" And she said, actually, I asked, "How can I help you?" instead of saying, "Can I?" How can I help you?
Mhm.
And she said, "Could you take him to the hospital?" It's moments like that.
Yeah, they make you pause. Like I've had a few moments like that, especially. And it happens. I feel like for me, it's like, okay, like this is testing like my faith, right? And my values, right? That I say, am I being the person who I strive to be? When I'm dirt tired, and that's when those situations happen. When I'm
Yeah.
so tired, I just can't wait to get home, and I just want to like get in bed and go to sleep. Then I see someone on the side of the road, and I'm like, okay, let me help them.
Yeah.
I remember this one young man. He was like, yeah, no one helped. I was I was praying and thinking like, oh, like this someone would stop, and he did, right? And I I did, and it wasn't for a second. I ended up spending hours with this guy, like going and like getting. I don't even know how to change a tire. I had my husband on like FaceTime, and he helped me walk through changing a tire
Love it.
and helping this guy and getting the materials that he didn't have to do it, and spending so many hours, you know, doing different things like that. But sometimes that's just people helping people, right?
Yeah.
Um, and when you look at that, is that that doesn't feel like work,
No, it does
helping
not.
other people. And other people see that as work. Like, oh, that's my job to go and do that thing. And so, like, reimagining what actually is work, if we think about us just helping other people, that's why I was saying, like, oh, it should be fun and enjoyable, and it's something we do. Like, I think maybe work maybe has this nasty moniker to it. Right?
Mm. So maybe we need to reimagine that word as well.
Mm, yeah, maybe so.
Maybe Monday morning becomes, look, I got an opportunity to help.
Yeah, I know. I definitely some many years ago looked at the way I considered Mondays. Oh, it's no case. Mondays are always said with dread and saying like, "Oh wow," instead of like, "Oh, guess what I get to do today,"
Yeah.
and take that for every day. So it's not, "Oh yeah, it's the weekend." Like, hey, every day, kind of having some excitement to it. It's not,
Forget.
oh, just because it's the weekend, just because it's this day. Like every day, maybe because I don't know when my last day on this earth is. So might as well like take it a day at a time and take it with joy versus with dread.
That's beautiful. Actually, you're making me rethink things too, even how I approach every day. And wow, approach it with joy. Approach it with joy.
Yeah. It probably helps you make better decisions too.
Absolutely. When I'm coming from a place of joy, I don't have fear in my heart. And fear, I think, is the major blocker for many people. Like just being afraid keeps us frozen, keeps me frozen. When I'm scared, I don't know what to do. I can go, oh, let me just sit here. Let me just sit here and think. And then I overthink. And then I think some more. And that's not necessarily helping me. Sometimes I do have to take action, but I can't if I'm frozen in fear.
Yeah. I kind of look at the day and like with decisions, it's like very open space, whatever happens,
Yeah,
right? It's like a wedding, like, hey, everything won't be perfect.
right.
So, like, what do we care about? We have this laundry list of things, and some of the things are just they're not must-haves. They're just nice to haves, right? And many things are actually nice to have when you look at it, almost everything, right? Um, and just making those choices from that, and it makes my day a lot better, actually, and my decisions. And then when things fall by the wayside, I'm okay with it. That's probably why I have, thousands of unread messages and texts and different things like that. And like, okay, maybe I'll get to them. Still care about them, care about people and other different things. And uh, but I understand everything's not urgency. I don't need to do click to remove, right? Even if it's junk mail, I'm okay if it's just sits there. It's not bothering me. So,
Yeah, but every once in a while, I do the same thing. I literally have thousands and thousands of emails, and I'm always trying to catch up. And the only time I ever really do is when Google says I'm out of storage, and I'm cheap and I don't want to buy storage. So, but I went back and found something from 2013, and I was gonna delete it, and I went, no, wait, there's something to learn from this. Let me just take a look at it real quick. And I did. And I was like, okay, I don't have time to dig into it, but I can go ahead and move it to my drive. And then someday I might get back to it, but at least it's there. And that email can be deleted so that I can free space up for something else.
mhm, yeah. Wow. This this has been so delightful. Like that's why I love the unscripted conversations. I'm like, ooh, you just give me a little gem and a nugget and how we build upon it, right? It's like
I love it.
I love it.
I had no idea we were going live either. So this has been oh, thankfully, I didn't get scared and I didn't freeze. But I just feel like anytime I have a conversation with you, April, it's just going to go to some beautiful places.
Aw.
Thank you so much.
And she just got back from vacation before we wrap it up. And 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 in this instance of live, because we'll be live multiple times during this event and even after. Is there like some party thing? Today we're exploring unimagined possibilities. Is there something you want to leave us with?
So I have always tried to keep my days very busy. And the thing about being on vacation is if you leave that space, you never know what's going to happen to fill it. Something will always fill it. But if it's full, that thing that you might uncover that you wouldn't have otherwise will show up in your day.
Well,
Space.
yeah, I call it breath. Colleen calls it space. And that is what open space is about. That's one of the elements out of there. So I thank you all. Tune in next time. We invite you to like, subscribe, um, comment, share on whatever social media channel that you're uh, uh, listening in. We thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.